we often tend to throw caution to the wind when we decorate. And we run to Kmart, or we run to AC Moore or Joanne Fabrics and buy many, many pre-made things. But if you just took a look at what is around our area, you're going to notice that we have a lot of beautiful things on the back roads. And if you start pre-planning, you can definitely pick up a lot of things. I do want to say, be careful, because I did once pay a $50 fine on the Mass Pike many years ago, for picking berries. So, if you are going to pull over the side of the road on any of the highways, be careful that there's nobody around you. Okay, which way? Williamsburg decorations are classics. It's proof that simplicity is often the best. Take a bunch of greens, throw them into a vase, and you have something beautiful. I'd like you to follow me. After all, they didn't have much in the 1700s. So I have very simple things that I have picked up along the way the last couple of weeks when we decided to do this. You know? First and foremost, I'd like to thank Mrs. Robinson and Mrs. I was going to say Valaise, oh my God. Mrs. Vanaco for all their wonderful work that they have done in planning. And just to show my appreciation, Mrs. Vanaco chose this ribbon, so this is hers, and Mrs. Robinson, this is for you. Okay. And Priscilla, where's Priscilla? Priscilla was the mastermind taking care of all the money. Thank you very, very much for doing that nice showing. Okay, a couple of things that when you're out there and looking and pre-planning that you need is your mother's or grandmother's old gloves. These are my mom's gloves. My mother had a purple knitted coat that she had knitted. And these were the gloves that went with it. So these are very, very old, but very trustworthy. But when you're working with pines and pine cones, you really do need a pair of gloves. You need a good pair of clippers in your car always, and a big pair of clippers in your car always. I must confess, I've had these in my pocketbook for the last week and a half. Probably not a good thing, but hidden underneath there, a week and a half. So, another thing that I have found and learned through the years is that suntan lotion. Suntan lotion will take off sap if you get it on your hand. So it will take it off. Use it as like soap. So I always carry my suntan lotion. Please, if you have any questions at any point, stop me, okay? That would be perfect, because we are a nice crowd that's here. The first thing that I'm going to do is a wreath. And I'm going to use a pineapple because the pineapple is a sign of hospitality. I'm going to use apples because they were, Johnny Appleseed had already gone through Williamsburg and had dropped his little seeds around and would have the apples. And I'm going to use a variety of pine cones. Unfortunately, we had trouble this year finding pine cones. This was not the year for pine cones. Usually, they're all over the place and they're quite a nuisance. But this year, we really had to go deep into the woods or up into the trees. We even saw a mom the other day climbing into the tree in the parking lot here at school. Priscilla caught her going into the tree looking for pine cones, getting some pine cones. I know myself, I have some beech tree pine cones. And I thought that I could reach them on one of these service roads on the Cape, but I did have to go back and get a ladder. My husband would not come with me. He said, no way, I am not going to be part of your crime scene. And I did have to go in, and I was fortunate enough with my clippers to get some of the deader ones, or some of the ones that had just hang in there. So this was not the season. On the other hand, it was the season, it is the season for green berries. For berries. If you notice, berries are everywhere. Just be careful. I did have an experience in Upton the other day. I had my clippers and my big clippers in the car, and there was a gorgeous berries, and I really thought that I could get to them. And 1 foot in, I was up to mud, up to my knee. And luckily I had a pair of shoes on that had a strap, because there was no way that shoe was coming with me. But it did come up, and I couldn't clip it. I just couldn't get to them still. So I didn't get the berries, somebody else did. I got berries. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to do a wreath. The first and foremost thing, I buy my wreaths. I do not make them anymore. My mom used to make us trek through the woods over here on Fair Street and go get pine and Princess Pine to make wreaths. No way, ole, anymore. There are beautiful wreaths out there. The first thing you do is, when you're going to do any type of a wreath, is put a hook, but also get a ribbon. Because I don't know if you guys have ever done wreaths before. I'm sure you have. And you get your wreath done, you go, okay, where's my hook? And it's turned upside down. So put a ribbon so that you know where your end is. First of all, I'd like you to meet my assistants. This is my very, very good friend, and I hope all of you have an opportunity in life to have a great friend like I do. This is my friend, Pam. Pam and I have gotten into more trouble at more times. She's my partner in crime, more times. So I'm going to take a pineapple, and I'm going to attempt to put it on here. This wreath is going to be very heavy. It is going to be very heavy when it's finished. What we did, we put it away? The skewer? Yeah, we took a skewer and we stuck it right through, and a kebab skewer type of thing. Another one, and yep, thank you. And we stuck it in there. Actually, my assistant Pam and Sharon Goldstein, thank you very much, stuck it in, turn it around so they could put the wire in. I used a coated wire as opposed to the regular green wire, and the reason why I did that from past experience, the green wire tends to cut more, and before you know it, you have pineapple juice all over your front steps. So, being this on top, I'm just going to set it in here, and I'm just going to wrap it. We're not too concerned about seeing the wire, because it is green, and you don't see too much of it. I want to make sure that I have enough on both sides. I am going to. So I'm just going to chat as I do things, because I do that much better, and I'm pretty good at chatting. A couple of things that I want to, what did I do? Did I do something? No. A couple of things I wanted to talk to you about too is that there are some plants out there, some of the greens, that you don't want to have near food. I don't know why sometimes I'm still here, because my mom would go between our properties. She's not here, is she? No, okay. The lady who bought my mom's house, her sister is here. There, between the two properties, there are mountain laurel. Mountain laurel is a beautiful bush that has gorgeous dark green leaves. And in the summertime, it has white flowers, or pink, depending on your mountain laurel. She used to put it around the punch bowl all the time. Well, mountain laurel is deadly. Deadly around food. We didn't know that. We didn't know that at the time. Deadly. Like I said, it was a beautiful, beautiful green. She would mix that in with princess pine. Princess pine, the best thing that I can describe princess pine is you know when little babies, when you put the little, put their hair up here and it kind of goes zoop and around like that, that's princess pine. It's green, it's a very feathery type of, and it's a runner. It's a runner on the ground. We used to go in the back and get princess pine, and Marie used to get full of poison ivy, even in December and January and everything. Okay. Now, I'm not quite sure. See, it's not secure yet there, so I am going to secure it up top. But this wire is pretty good holding it up, so I am going to get another green one. I'm going to stick that right into the top of the pineapple itself. I always like to wrap around. I usually wear the gloves. I don't know why I don't have them on. But, oh well. Years past, we recently sold the big house after 24 years of living in one part of Hopkinton. We had a pretty large home that we raised the kids in, and I was known in the neighborhood of doing a lot of this Williamsburg Christmas type of thing. I tried to get a picture of it, but I couldn't. I had a large door with the transit windows on the side. So I used to do, from the book, and I'll show you, the neighborhood used to call it my fruit basket, up and over the door. Okay? I am going to secure that again, but up against the door, it will stay there. I'm going to quickly put some apples and you know what, Pam, I think I'm only going to go with one. Oh, yeah. One instead of two on each one. That's okay. There was one time that arch. Pam, would you find that arch in the book, please? Okay. Pretty sure it was a good. Okay. The arch is made with a piece of plywood. And because, I'm going to work on backwards, because the plywood, my door opening was so large, it was an 8-foot piece of plywood that I cut in half and did a half moon on it. So it was 8 feet long and 4 feet high. It had, yep, I don't know if you can see it, probably not. But that was the arch. Had a pineapple in the middle. It had magnolia leaves all around, and close to $150 worth of apples, because you wanted to use the delicious apples because they were vibrant red. And I used to take my delicious apples and put shoe polish on them. I would wrap it in shoe polish. I would, put shoe polish around to make it shiny and to keep it. The light-colored shoe polish, not something dark, and just wrap it around it. And that would kind of also give it a preservative around, and it would last, and they would be nice and bright for a long time. Unfortunately, one winter, it got warm. And yes, exactly. We had applesauce, pineapples falling all over the place, but oh well, that's life, right? And then I stopped doing it because, and my husband we had hooks up on the top of next to the door and nails up there and whatnot. I do have I just found it in the book. If anyone so desires to make one, I have the pattern for it. And to tell you where I put all the nails and whatnot, I did throw that away when we moved. Did I tell you that? We moved. We moved from the big house. And now we live in a lovely, lovely condo. So it's getting there. And you can put as many apples that you want. I'm going to throw some pine cones on here too. A little variety of pine cones. These lovely ladies wrapped them all for me. These are the beech. This is your white pines. And these are your spruces. Like I said, not a good year for pine cones. Not a good year. Thank you, Pam. I don't know if you know, but with your admission ticket, all of these will be raffled off. This is the door prizes. So what we thought to get a ball rolling is that we would, when I make something, we'll raffle. Are we going to raffle it? Yes. Yes. As I make it, your name went into a bucket. And did you see what kind of bucket it was? Yeah. Champagne bucket. Nice one. Our principal wouldn't let us have champagne. Spoiled. Spoils George.
I don't know.
But we will do that. And time allotted, I have quite a few things to do. This one may seem a little more difficult, you may think, but the other ones are going to be kind of easy to do. And all I'm doing is wrapping here. Just wrapping the wire, and I wrap more than I'm supposed to because past experience, it falls off. It falls off. If you have a pine cone that is too large, just twist it, right? Twist it in half, and you'll have two, and you have a nice rosette that's there. See? Tu vois les mots français? Yeah. It's good, that's it. That's it. All I know. All I know. You know, everyone says, you know, how do you know these things? My mom had a lot of talent, awful lot of talent, and she passed it on to my brother, whose lovely wife is here. Isn't my favorite sister-in-law? You have a favorite sister-in-law? I do. Sorry, I do. And you do? Do you have a favorite sister-in-law? And my brother is also very talented. Not Paul so much. Do we know? Scissors. You know? Do we know that? He doesn't show it if he is. You people know my brother Paul, yes. My Paul. Some of you went to school with my brother Paul. I'm a Millville gal, born and raised in this neck of the woods here. Have been teaching in this school system for 38 years. And I am retired this year. Now, I did something that you're not supposed to do. I did, it is crooked. It is crooked, but that can be fixed. See, now that I know where the wire is, I can fix it. If I had to go looking for the wire all the way through, it wouldn't be so easy. Oh, Carol, you know Paul. Carol.
Very good at giving watches.
Yes, Carol Perry. Still? No? Yes? Had a very big crush on my brother Paul for years and years. Truth be known, Carol. But Carol is married with 3 beautiful boys who I've had the opportunity to teach. See, Kathy, if you had stayed around, you'd be getting kids that you had, you know, yes. See, you know, I said when I got the grandmother of children who I have, and that is your mom. Yes, I had your mom, but I taught high school for the first 10 years. So I said, when I have the grandmother, that's it, I'm out. And it's happened. I have the grandchildren, so I'm out. On my wreaths outside, if I'm going to put this green stuff, I don't use ribbon. I do have some ribbon here, whomever gets this and would like a ribbon on it, I can show you how to make it. You know, I'll tell you that. I was not the ribbon maker. My mom was the ribbon maker. And there was a time that I taught a class at the high school, a craft class at the high school. And I had to have her come and make all the ribbons. And I think I got a little embarrassed because, you know, my mom was my mom and she was trying to take over and things like that. Moms do. And some of you remember one of them. And I learned how to make ribbon. I learned how to do it. So, this is it. Greenie, we'll see if this nail fits. Is he still here? We'll see if this... I will turn it. Okay. Yes, sure. And like I said, at the end, if somebody wants a ribbon, I will put a ribbon on it, if need be.
Okay, let's see who the lucky winner is. Shake it up. Kate Dubois.
Kate doesn't have a house. Yeah, and the box. You know, we can put that right here. Okay, excuse me? Oh, no, that's for that. Kate, I will turn it, I'll turn the tie for you, okay? Yeah, you know I was gonna put it. Over here. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize for the coughing and how about I do this? You know when it's time to leave, when you've been as healthy as a horse and have 160 some odd sick days. So obviously I've been healthy, and your last year you're so sick all the time. I've had sinus infection, I've had strep throat, I've had, name it, toothache, everything. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is these lovely Yankee candles. And what did I do with the red one? Oh, wait, in that basket. And all this is taking the cover and turning it upside down. It is actually the cover turned upside down and taped on. Now, what has happened to that one is that I did them, and my Oasis was very wet, and the tape came off, so I made it, and then after I just retaped it, and then you put a ribbon on it. Thanks, ma'am. You need to soak your Oasis. This is what you call a floral foam. It is for fresh flowers. Don't try to soak the one for dry flowers. It won't go anywhere. Have done that before. This is a little bit darker green than the other one's kind of a light green. So I'm going to make a boxwood tree on that. And what I need to do is I need to find out what kind of a diameter I do that. So I'm going to just, and it's been soaking for a long time. What I do is I get a bunch of Oasises and just put them in a container and just leave everything in the garage and whatnot. So I have now some kind of a base of which I'm going to jam that back in. This is a knife that goes into my area, my crafty area, because I have dulled it now since I cut an Oasis. And what you're going to do is you're going to try to just make a little tree. So cut at an angle. Sometimes, if it's nice and wet also, this stuff is really not worth anything. I used to try to save it and jam it in and whatnot, but you can form these also because you want to have a little bit of a point that's up there. Okay? Boxwood. Many of you have boxwood at your house. It's a different type of a boxwood than the one that's cultivated also. Don't do what I did. I apologize for the person who's going to get this right away. It stinks. Boxwood smells like cat tinkle. I hate to tell you. Have you ever on a nice summer day, you have boxwood in your front yard and you open your windows and you're like, okay, I don't have a cat. Who did not clean the cat litter? It reeks. Well, that's not really probably your cat. It's your boxwood out there. Some yews also stink. Okay? That Scotch tape may come off, but I'll redo it after. Okay? All right. What you do when you make a boxwood tree, and that's the same as making that one, is you find first a piece that will be your top. A nice piece that will be your top. If you stick something in boxwood, you can't take it out again and put it back in because the hole is just not good anymore. So try to do it once. If you have to go back, really squish it down, kind of mold it back together. You do a skirt, depending on what size you would want it. I use up almost all my boxwood, okay? I'm gonna go fast because I got this down pat to 20 minutes, so let me see. I think got the timer on? Let me see if I can do it. Do you smell it yet here? No? Bless you. You can smell it? No. I took a half a personal day today just to go home and get the rest of my stuff and made the boxwood tree there. That's my therapy. I just love painting the wine glasses, depending on the glasses that you saw out there. That is my therapy. And I put other stuff in the wine glasses too while I'm painting naturally. I did that. The problem is right now is that in the condo, I can't find a place to work. I used to have a setup in my other house. Hardwood floors are wonderful. You know, you can have greens all over the place and just clean up the mess after. But I have hardwood floors in the condo, but I have a smaller space. So if I want to walk away from it, everybody else sees it. That's there. And my husband came home and he went, well, it's not the cat, because the cat litters upstairs. And he looked at me and goes, oh, that boxwood's in the kitchen again. So what you're doing is you're going to skirt it, and then you're going to bring it up. As you start to get up a bit, they're not going to be out anymore, they're going to start to come up. That's on there. So if anyone at this time, too, would like to go get a nice Williamsburg punch, thank you, Jamie, for making the Williamsburg punch. Jamie's my new partner in crime. She's my new colleague. And we are having a wonderful year. Right, Jamie? That's right. Yes. Humor me. Humor me. We are going to take a break in between, too, because we have fabulous pastries out there also. And since at the time, maybe some of you didn't have dinner, and what is wrong with having dessert for dinner? As you get older, you know that's, you think about that the most. Think about that. That you have that dessert for dinner. So they go up. This one's going to be a little bigger. My mistake. See, your bottom part of your wood is going to set the tone for the rest of it. And I put it large on the bottom, so now I'm not gonna run into trouble. It's just it's going to be. And as Pam knows, it doesn't matter what our trees look like, right, Pam? Doesn't matter. Because sometimes Marie just comes around with her clippers and gives it a haircut. Help people out. So, but, okay, I need to inform the rest of you, some of you who have seen me do this before. We were talking about this before and saying, how many times have I done this? I did many, many years ago, where's Frank? I did 3, I think, for Lucian. Lucian Benoit was a guidance counselor at school who passed away at a very early age. And we wanted to establish a scholarship for him. So I decided to do one of these, the group decided to do one of these. And we ended up doing 3 in court, 20-something thousand that we accumulated through the years on it. And then I took it out on the road and did one at Mercy Mount? No, it wasn't, McGann's. Margaret McGann's daughter was gone to Mercy Mount at the time. And then I believe I did one in Bellingham one year. And then we had a little boy in our class, my class, Matthew Gignac, who has passed away, and we decided to do a scholarship for him, and we did 2 for that. So I haven't done one in quite a few years, so this is a nice thing. So as I was saying, what I was bringing this about is that I had a neighbor, and it wasn't this Pam. It was perfect Pam. We all have a neighbor like that, right? That we laugh about all the time, all of that. Now, and we called her Perfect Pam because she had the perfect house. She had the perfect lawn. She had the perfect kids. We don't have any kids. She had the perfect kids. And we used to laugh at her because, and at him, and we tell them this to their face too. They were so meticulous about their land that he would mow the land himself, and when they went on vacation, he would have it mowed. And when Richard came home, the first thing he did was to get his clippers and a ruler, and he would measure the end of the lawn to the driveway to make sure it was completely straight. And if it wasn't, he was out there clipping. So he had the most beautiful lawn ever. And Pam was able to have gorgeous flowers. She never did much. We never saw her out there, but she had perfect flowers. We used to say that she used to spit on them. So that's why they were perfect. Well, I will tell the story of the holly bushes. When I moved into my house, and that was one of my dream houses, I always wanted to have an English garden with a white picket fence, and I did get that. My house was yellow, and it was a colonial, and I had an English garden with a white picket fence around the main part of the house. And I tried to grow and plant certain bushes that I could use during the year, the boxwood and hollies. Well, when you have holly, you have to have a male and a female, at least one male and a female to get berries. And one year, the lovely deer ate our male bushes. So of course the females would pollinate and would not have berries that year. So I went up to Western Nursery and I said, oh gosh, what do I do? They're almost down to nothing. And he said to fix them for next year, there's a little tip, is to get a hose with regular soap, regular dish soap, and one of those containers that you would use for insecticides or whatever, put it in there, and spray the bush down completely, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking away the saliva of the deer. And then he said, what she's supposed to do. He goes, well, what about my poor holly that, well, what are you going to do? He says, do you have a neighbor who has male bushes that are fine? And I'm like, yeah. Well, he says, well, when they're not home, go over to their house when the flowers are almost ready to pop and to pollinate. Go to their house and get some branches. So the Jacksons used to go to the Cape Bellotto, or I don't know where they went, but we didn't care. So when I knew they were gone, I went and got some bushes and I pollinated my tree. Gorgeous. It was absolutely beautiful. It came out absolutely beautiful. It was gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So the story continues. Karen, and I'm going to say McFarland, but her name is not McFarland now, it's Karen Loza, was working at this school at that time, that year. And she thought that she would play a joke on me. So I would bring in Holly in my classroom, and I had Holly and berries and whatnot. And if I don't say it right, help me along on this one, or Eileen. She took the little rubbers from teeth when you have braces. They have these little tiny rubbers that look like rubbers, and she came in before I came in. Do you remember that? And she put them all over my berries in my classroom. Yes. So, that's my holly story. And it did pollinate. So, yeah, we used to be quite jokesters. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think? Anybody time me? No? Good. 10 minutes. No. So, and you know, sometimes if you don't like it or whatever, you can trim it down or whatever. But now what I'm going to do is, and I think I can just leave this aside and just dump that out this way. To decorate it, it is okay to use your hot glue gun on something like this. I'm going to, you ready? Thanks. I'm just going to hot glue some balls right on there. No need to, well, you can take, once it's dry, you can take all the little thingalings, these strings off. You can de-string it. To keep it going, keep it moist, spray it. Spray it. I have been actually putting it under the sink and just getting it hot. They have been soaking for quite a long time, so you may be cool. You may be good with it. Confession version. While the kids were watching, one of my aides they were watching a program today, and one of my aides, she says, "Can I do something for you instead of just watching it?" And something like that. I said, "Sure." So Sue Landry made all my little bows. All my little bows. And you just have to glue them on. Just throw them on there. So maybe you want to pull an egg? No? Where'd you go? Where'd they go? They're going to eat. I'm going to go eat something.
They left me, it's a good thing I stayed.
Just to get the during the time.
I have Wendy Greenstein.
Okay.
And I will say, if there is a break, whenever Mrs. Smith says, please feel free. We have lots of goodies out there, and you guys did not do a very good job, ladies.
Oh, come on. All right. Okay, let me just put another one. You can't have too many of these. Just can't have too many of them. And, ow. Ow. Okay. And like I said, Wendy, you just get yourself a bottle and green. Doesn't work. Just spritz it. Always spritz boxes. And now just come back. Okay? Sometimes they look pretty too if you got. And I'll put a ribbon. Wendy, I'll talk to you later about the ribbon that you want to have on there.
That's for my mother. It's her
Oh,
Christmas
wow.
present. It's a Christmas present. You talk to her.
I'll talk to you after, okay? What kind of ribbon that you want on there. All right? Okay. Well, that's what it is. Okay, let me look at my list. 1, 2, 3. Okay, centerpiece. This is another one that's going to go quick. Okay, sort of. This is one that I do with, even though you can do it with fruit. I wanted to get the little tiny apples. Crab apples? They stopped putting them in stores, which is not very nice of them. And sometimes you can get the little tiny pears also, but I couldn't get those either. So I'm gonna put flowers in it. Okay. I'm gonna go against the Williamsburg. This has been soaking. Once again, it's very wet. Okay. What I would do is, if you had some kind of little tray or something like that, it's best to put it on. These you can pick up at a florist, and I think AC Moore has it. You're going to use the entire block of it, okay? Now, this is when I'm going to need all my greens. on here, because I'm just gonna play. The first thing that I like to start off with is, and these, I must confess, these are not local. I did get them in a flush, but I absolutely love them. They're Western cedar. I love it. From Oxford, Port Oxford, wherever that is. I always thought it was Oregon, and I like them because it can droop. You can use them this way or that way. So once again, you find yourself a nice piece. And, you know, there's no need to have a very long stem there. And this is also going to determine how big you want it. And it's nice and low, Sharon. It's nice and low so you can see the people across from you, Sharon. Okay? You can see the people across, because it's going to be low. Yes, I am. And you're talking to Jan. I'm looking for another one that's kind of equal. I may even put two on the other side. Okay. You know, it's funny. My mom went and took floral classes and thought, I guess, at one point of her life she was going to do something with it and didn't. And then I started taking over, and she was like, good, because I'm not doing it anymore. So that worked out well for me. Just watch. And you're just sticking in. I'm finding pieces that are kind of equivalent on both sides. Doesn't matter. I'm going to add a whole bunch of pieces there. Okay, so that kind of is going to tell me where I'm going to be. I will add some more. That's there. This is your white pine. Like I said, I will probably get very sappy. I should be wearing my gloves. I always start there for some reason. I always start there and then work around. And this is the type of thing that you just keep cutting and putting in, cutting and putting in. I mean, I probably could have cut all of them up, but it's much nicer to just see it happening and going there. So, okay. All right, let me see. Jane Murphy story. Can I say it? Can I say, Kathy, can I say the Jane Murphy story? Where's Kathy? As I do it, before I get to the cranberries. One year, I had done, and I'm going to do something with cranberries in a vase, and I had done it in a fishbowl. Just a regular old fishbowl. It was a round fishbowl. But Jane, being very literal, when we said fishbowl, and she put cranberries in it, and you know, it was really pretty and whatnot, she's looking at everybody at the table going, fishbowl? How many cranberries did she use in the fishbowl? Jane thought it was a fish tank. She thought it was a fish tank. I still love that story, Jane. Still love it. I'll always remember you by the fish tank. See, some people remember you by the water fountain. I'll remember you by the fish tank. Okay. I just love the smell of this stuff. Just love it. And you know what? We only use it, and why? Why? I have no idea why. It's really ridiculous. We only use it during this time of the year. Why can't we use it in the summer and the winter time? I decided that I do have a place on the Cape. That is my dream house. Dreams do come true if you work hard enough. Keep telling the kids, if you work hard enough, they do come true. And you go by it. You go by my exit all the time. It's Hunter Hill Estates, Old Stage Road. Yeah, and you have to come because the little guy keeps saying, well, did you come? Have you come? Good. Was the construction going on at that time? Now we have all kinds of scaffolds and things like that. But you're going to have to stop in because he is really just dying to stop in. Little Kyle is dying to stop and see. So he keeps telling me every time. That's why he said, you look familiar. And I'm going to use this, but I'm going to put some different colors and different textures different evergreens that I have. Okay? I used to find, and I didn't this year, is that one of the biggest places that I would get a lot of the most beautiful greens is at cemeteries. They have gorgeous trees. They have beautiful trees that are there. And sometimes they need trimming. So we would, as long as you're going to visit somebody that feel as though that you know, own the property a bit. So my in-laws are in Truett. And they didn't have any pine cones this year because I did go visit them. They didn't have any pine cones. But that's a beautiful place to go. They have beautiful trees and pine cones and whatever, and they do need trimming. I always said that if you trim a little bit, it grows better, right? Trim something. Trim your hair, it grows healthier and better. So, all right, now I'm going to start to come up, but I'm going to now make it a little variation and add some other things that are there. I don't want it to be too high because Sharon wants to see the people on the other side of her. So she doesn't want it too high. Sometimes it's best, right, Manette, not to be able to see the people. Oh, we all have those in-laws, right? We all have the old fart. Right, Pam? We all have it. Okay. I'm just going, and I like to do the different colors and variations, and I always do all my greens first, and then I just throw my flowers in and whatnot. All right, here we go. Here we go with all the difference. This is a spruce. I don't know. You know what? I'm not very good. I must admit. So that's probably why I'd flunk out of floral school because I don't know the names of everything. But these at one time would have the most gorgeous little pine cones, the little tiny pine cones. Not this year. I did have a kid on top of my shoulders, and he got these, but they're not quite the big pine cones that we want. When you do, up you go. You know, no, I went back to the old neighborhood, and we were the drop-off center in our house. We lived in what you call a fishbowl. It was a development, and if you came into the development, you had to stop, and my house was right in front. So we had planted many trees in the front so that people, because they would stop and like look in, we were set back about 100 feet from the road, but still they would stop and look in. And we had, everyone would come and stop. All the kids used to congregate there too, as the years go on. And even now, the little ones, my children, not children, yours too, would babysit. So now the kids they come and see, Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith is here, Mrs. Smith is here. Of course, being a teacher, I was always the one that they would come to at Halloween to look for parts of a costume, or we were really great about, what was it, the scavenger hunt? There was a CCD that did the scavenger hunt. Oh my gosh. They wouldn't even bother going to anybody else's house in the neighborhood. They would come to mine and they would call her and find out what she had. We always had things, and if we didn't have things in the scavenger hunt, we made them. Made them on the spot. Made them on the spot. Help those kids. So I want to have some different textures in there, a little variation. I have plenty more. This is your arborvitaes. Okay. This is the lovely thing that the deers love to eat. Love to eat. So if you want to prevent them, This is a great one. And we can't do this anymore. And now I'm thinking back of the things that we used to do when we lived in the house in the Williamsburg. My husband was a fanatic about the deer. Didn't particularly care for the deer eating everything. So he wanted to find a way to get rid of them. So he would get a case of Irish Spring soap. And coming home, and I come home and goes, oh my God, he's at it again. He'd be in the basement drilling holes in the Irish Spring soap. You know soap on a rope? Mm-hmm. He would have them all over the front yard, hanging in the trees, because the deer does not like Irish Spring. I wonder if he had done something else, if they like that, but no, definitely not Irish Spring. Okay? So. Yeah, you know, you always talk about a husband when they're not here to defend themselves. That's okay. All right, I'm just doing, like I said, different colors, different textures. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. And this is what my kitchen would look like at the end. Pull stuff out. Another type of issue. It's there. These are two different varieties, must be because they're different colors. Different colors. And once it gets to a certain point, I just fill it in with more of the princess pine, the white pine, not princess pine, the white pine, so that it fills it easier. Okay. And this, if you spray it, will last until Valentine's Day, when you can throw some hearts or just flowers in it also. We always throw it away once it's Christmas is over. Don't do that. It lasts forever. Forever and ever. I had one that I made at Thanksgiving that I'm just going to add some Christmas flowers in it. Okay? Don't add poinsettias if you have animals, because that's not too good for them. It is a bit deadly for animals. That's what they say. The poinsettias, which is kind of a shame. But, yeah, I'm gonna add, okay, I'm just now gonna just continue with the princess pine, just to fill it in, and then I'm gonna put some pine cones. Ugh. You don't want to use the whole thing. Got some little ones in there. You know what, Pam, I may, yeah, may not even need the ones on wires, but we can pull those off or something like that. I do want to add some flowers in here also. Thank you. So let me see another story. Pine cone story. Love pine cones. I absolutely love pine cones. I'm decorating my house now with the rustic look, a lot of that brown, wrought iron type of stuff. If it was a bigger house, it'd probably look like a smoking lodge or something. But I do like it. This one's too big, so I have to add some stuff to it. We had an opportunity. Now, where's Mrs. Kirby? You went to did you go to Yosemite this summer?
No.
No, okay. You went to the sequoias though?
Yes.
Okay. Sequoias are little pine cones, little tiny pine cones. Believe it or not, the largest trees in the world have the smallest pine cones in the world. They're the size of an olive, believe it or not. When we went there, for some reason they did not want us picking them. So that didn't flow with me. So I would be, saying to my daughter, Ellie, tie your shoe. Ellie, tie your shoe. Mom, I don't need to tie my shoe. Ellie, tie your shoe. I don't need to tie it. Oh, Ellie, you don't know how to tie your shoe? I would get down and I'd tie it and grab some pine cones. Because otherwise they won't let you do it. So we were at that was in the sequoias, and then we went to the redwood forest. The redwood forest has those big pine cones. Those, they don't allow you to pick them. They go around smashing them, and I was very upset about that too. So there just happened to be one of the rangers who studied in Maine, and recognized our accents right away, and said, okay, here's the scoop. If you go outside of the state forest, you can get those pine cones. So she told us where to go. Remember the story of Lucille Ball when they went with the big van, the motorhome in the rocks? Okay, on the back roads and whatnot. Well, I had my husband going into the mountain on back roads. We had a white van. We had rented a white van. And I've got him going in the back roads. And he's like, oh my gosh, Marie, who knows? It's beer country, by the way. And I have him going in there, and he's like to the kids, button up, because who knows what's going to happen. Your crazy mother has to have these big pine cones. So we're going, and then he says to me after a while, he says, okay, there's a bear around here. And I goes, well, how do you know that? He says, there's a big pile of poop in the middle of the road. Now, the road is a one-way. You have to go in and then back up on the way. There's a mountain here and a mountain there. And he says, don't say anything to the kids. And I said, well, it's probably not, it's heated, Marie. He just did it. Because the heat's coming out of it. And, of course, Adam and I were like, what's it? Let's go see. All of a sudden, cows start crossing the road. They weren't good. So we go into the area and we see a whole bunch of the big pine cones. And I got out and got a bunch, and he said, hurry up, the stupid cows are going to come back, hurry up. So I said, well, turn around. He goes, where? If I turn this way, I'm into the mountain. If I turn that way, I'm down the valley. So he says, we have to back up. And you better watch what's behind us to back up. So we did back up, and we were completely fine, and I got my pine cones. But neurosis sets in every once in a while in your life. Prior to our trip that winter, I had, remember Michelle, you know that? Yeah, okay. A friend of ours up the street had these two little boys, and I had gone to her house. She actually is a lady that does the Dream Kitchen dinners in Milford. You ever do that? You go and make like maybe 10 meals or things like that. All right, this is my game. Now I'm going to add flowers to it. She thought she was smart, and they went, how many people pick real trees? Go out and cut their own tree down, okay? She went and cut her own tree down and saw this beautiful tree, and it had pine cones all in it. And she said, well, how lovely is that going to be? So she took it home on a Saturday, and they were going to decorate it on Sunday. They had a gray rug, and Michelle wears glasses, and she got up Sunday morning and came downstairs and putting her glasses on, and she saw a line going out to the door, the front door. And when she proceeded to come down the stairs and turn the corner, there was an entire line, a black line about this thick, from the tree all the way up to the front door. The pine cones were homes for spiders. And with the heat of the evening, the spiders hatched. And she had spiders all over the place. So, Karen, beware. Beware. All right? This doesn't need a lot of flowers, but just some pretty ones to spruce it up a little bit. And I'm just going to save my roses for something else. Okay? Mrs. Stearman had this Lazy Susan, which is a lifesaver. Thank you so much. Throw them in there. Get rid of these guys. Oh, trick. I forgot about this one. I learned this one recently at a show that I went to. To preserve your flowers, once you cut it, I'm going to cut it again. Once you cut it, there's a juice that comes out of your stem. And right away, if you don't immediately cut it and put it in, that juice coagulates and forms a seal. So what you do is you dip them in warm water and put them in. I just learned that. Dip one. So that's a little hint. Something's wrong here. Something's wrong. Okay. Also, if you want to, your hydrangeas, to preserve them and make them last longer, also dip them, as soon as you cut them, dip them in boiling hot water. Our niece decided to get married on the 4th of July, what, 2 weeks before the 4th, Heather? Our niece? A couple days before, decided to get married. And we went to the wedding on the 4th of July, and the flowers were wilting because it was so hot. If you remember, the 4th of July was brutal. And she had me dipping flowers in boiling hot water. You know, it was 95 degrees out and we're dipping flowers all over. But I'm going to continue with that color. There, just a couple more. We're getting it. Everybody falling asleep? Sorry. I'm sorry. The bows. Ooh. Can you see that? Yep. How to do this? Really, it was relatively easy to do. You take ribbon and you fold it once and pinch it. Okay. Fold it again, but backwards, in an uneven bow. Okay, and pinch. Fold it a third time. Oops, good. And pinch. And then tie ribbon around, a lot of wire around. And then cut this one. That's how I did these guys. Okay. And I'm going to hot glue it on here. Hopefully I can get it into spots. You can hot glue stuff. You know, if you want it to be, and then once it's dry, you can play with it or cool off. You can eliminate that if you want. You could add some balls, gold balls, really nice in there too. But, okay. Would we like to take a break and get some more? Don't you want to get some more raffle tickets and to eat some pastry? Yes? No? No? Yeah, you want me to do the other, which one? Yeah, I can do that. All right, so.
Okay, the winner of that beautiful centerpiece is Shannon Newcomb.
Okay, all right. Big lots. Big lots. You know, if you have stuff to donate also, they will take donations too. We had, when we moved from our house, I was tired of the things that I had. I have my mother's memories deep in my heart. I was never fond of her decor. So, right? No. So, I mean, we had our own stuff. So the things that I had, I kept one or two, and I asked my brothers if they wanted it, and they're like, no way, I don't want a junk either. So I kept the silver, and I even got rid of my dishes because, after 30 years, you're like, ugh, I need something new. I changed when I entertain, I like to do the decor different all the time. So you can't have the same dishes. And I was buying way too many sets of dishes, so I've decided to go with white. But we went to Savers, and since we're from Hopkinton, we went to the Savers in Framingham, in Natick. And I would pull up with the car. We made 15 trips to Savers. So I got rid of a lot. It felt so good. And now I'm looking for platters and things like that I don't have. But that's okay. There's always home goods. They would see me coming and would be like, oh, she's here again. And it got to the point that I was putting things out on the sidewalk because once it goes into the shop, they can't touch it. The workers can't touch it. They have to buy it. So they would be looking at me like, oh, it's like, okay, where's it going? On the sidewalk or in the shop? Can it stay on the sidewalk? We'll help you, take the stuff out of your car. Fine, just do it. So, but it's lovely to because there is somebody out there who need it a lot more than I would. Or appreciate it more than I would. This is just going to be a drooping thing. It's high enough as it is without making it any more any higher. So it's only going to be about that. I mean, you can go crazy with these things. And if you notice, I'm just throwing them in there. Not a care in the world, somewhat. But once again, I love to use the white pine. Just love the white pine. And for those people who came and went, I am sapless because I used, bless you, yeah. Is it the pine? No pine for you. That trick with the suntan lotion is great. Always have some in there. I used to work at Mugford's in Westboro? Westboro. Mr. Mugford was a hoot, and he's the one who taught me about the suntan lotion. We would have competitions on who would be doing roping the fastest. I used to do roping in my younger days. Stop and Shop, $7 or is it $14, whatever it was. So I live in a condo now, and we have rules and regulations in the condo. It's 55 and over. And last year, before Christmas, I was very excited because Monette did Thanksgiving at her house, so I didn't have to do it. And I wanted to get my decorations up. So I put my, 4 lights in the windows, and as opposed to 23. And we got a fake tree. Mm-hmm. And no, it's perfectly fine. When you can put your tree up like that, because you just take it out of the basement, it's grand, and the cat can jump on it and do whatever he wants, and we don't have to tie it to the ceiling anymore, because we always got the biggest tree on the loft. And it was the weekend. It was the Saturday or Sunday after Thanksgiving, and on Tuesday morning in the mail, I got a notice saying that the condo rules are your decorations are to go up 2 weeks prior to Christmas, and they need to come down 2 weeks after Christmas. So, needless to say, I was breaking the rules already of the condo. I can understand the 2 weeks after Christmas. I really can, because as I said, it's a 55 and older. It's more of a 75 and older. I feel like I'm the youngest there. They leave. There are many snowbirds, and they would leave, and they leave their Christmas decorations up until, when do they come back? April. So, yeah. Hey, this is getting, you know what? Oh, why am I scratching? You don't want to have too much in there. I think I'm just going to do the 2 varieties and add some flowers. On here. You don't want to do too much because the vase is so pretty itself that, and you can keep it just green. There's no reason why, there's no rule. Used to have a friend who would say that there's no police that's going to come to your house and say you have to have this or that in your floral arrangements. You can do whatever you want because it's your own creation, and we are not professionals. I'm not a professional on this. Professional teacher, but not here. So see how it just flows nicely and is just draped over. You know, you may want to do a little bit of glitter on it. The vase doesn't show that much. Why am I scratching? Well, way too. Look at that. Easy enough. Easy enough. Is that better, Lauren?
It's better, thank you.
Okay. Kind of looks like some of the kids that get up in the morning, huh? With the wild haircuts. That was dead. Right? Not me. Definitely not me. Definitely not me. Okay, so what do you think? Put some flowers in it and almost call it a day? Sometimes if you can see the oasis, it's not too cute, so add some more, just a bit in here. Okay, I think I want to, I have a tendency to overdo, so I have to, oh, these are pretty too though. They're a different color. It's kind of like doing your little girl's hair in the morning. Or Kyle's, I was telling your mom that I have a new job. Did he tell you? He had and I don't know how to say it in English, but he had a quack here yesterday, and he was very upset with me at 2 o'clock, and he looked at me and he says, Mrs. Smith, you didn't tell me that I had this sticking up, and I said, I have a new job now, Kyle, so it's to tell you when you're having a bad hair day. And he was like, yes, of course. We always wear new hats when we're teachers. All right, you're gonna add a couple of flowers. This would look pretty too if I had some sprinkles on it, but I tend to do things like that, only because I usually get it all over myself. So, I'm gonna put just a little bit of baby's breath in there. Maybe yes, maybe no. Baby's breath dies so quickly. So quickly, I'll try that. So quickly, so pretty. Warm water. Not too much. I want to save roses for, no, I'm not, I lied. Now, I don't know if you know the trick about roses, okay? They can be trimmed to last longer. That probably should have been a little warmer, but that's okay. I have an old friend who kind of got me going on these. I'm doing something you're not supposed to do, but I know where that oasis pot was. She used to say that to preserve roses And to keep them nice and fresh, you dip them in vodka. And that was supposed to keep them nice and fresh for a long period of time. Sounds good to me. And her name was Pauline Bodwin. She was a professional florist. She's sort of kind of, Linda, do you remember her? She's one of the ones that we first saw when we went to, this is only go so far, huh? When we went to Holliston and saw, she was the one from English. She was the English lady. And she used to say that. Definitely put them in a vodka. You don't have to have a lot of flowers, just a little bit of color to it. They always tell you to get rid of the greens on roses because they're not going to be any good anyhow. What do you think? You want a little more, or? I think I'm going to add a little more. I like just that color and not doing a lot of the different flowers that go in it. Maybe some more baby's breath in the little holes, nooks and crannies, as they say. Aha! I see it right there. You know what? I saw something else too that I'm not fond of. Okay.
So somebody's going to be the lucky person who gets that one. Jay Sacco. Miss Sacco, I'm so sorry I don't know her first name. She's so where did she go? It's your alien. Well, congratulations.
Okay. As you saw, gonna do something? No? Yes? What? No. Okay. As you saw here, I have set up a table setting. You know, as life goes on, I have found that I spent a good portion of my married life pleasing my husband and my children, and now it's time to please myself and my husband. And it doesn't always have to be like that, but doing something nice for yourself. There's no reason why you can't do this, or a close friend or something. There's no reason why that you can't do a nice. These charges were $1 at the Christmas tree shop. I buy, now these are my Christmas dishes, but I also buy those boxes of white dishes with the gold rim or the silver rim at Bed Bath & Beyond, $14 minus your coupon. And really pretty. I got these at Job Lot one year. They had those in the rock glasses. All I did with this is take a regular glass from the Christmas tree shop, a stencil brush, and I do use glass paint. There is a new paint out there it's called multi-purpose paint, and if you read on it, can be glass paint. And all I did was sponge it with a stencil brush and put a little ribbon on it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do two very simple arrangements. Yep. I'm going to do, gotta have candles. We still have candles every night. We still have cloth napkins and candles every night. Still do. Still do. 31 years we still have candles. Huh? You lucky you have dinner? All I did here is I did have a candle. This was a little part on it that would go into the candlestick. I'm sticking it in the middle, and I'm putting cranberries. See, Jane, you can put cranberries just about any place besides the fishbowl. Okay? Now, to prevent the burning, I don't know, this just does, you can leave it just like that, or if you wanted to, you could put water in it, and you'd have to fill up it a little bit more, because it won't float. They will float, cranberries float, they absolutely float. That's how they harvest cranberries, is they flood the bogs, and they all come to the top. And you know what I found this summer? I went for a walk on Old Stage Road, next to where Race Lane is. There's a cranberry bog that's there. And I never realized that the cranberries are not the red that we see, it's the bush. The plant is red. Did you know that? I didn't know that either until I walked from the center of Centerville. It's 3 miles from my house, from the center of Centerville. After I had my nails done, I let it dry all the way. So, you would have a little candle, always have candles, that's there. And you know what? Mom must be looking at me. My mother would say that this was not right. You should always, always light your candles before your company comes. You should never have your company come and have the wick shone like that. There should be a little char there. That's what she always said. So, yes. Also, we have baskets for sale with pine cones in it, and they're scented pine cones. Did you know they're scented out in the field? So, we put cinnamon on them. Mrs. Smith's gotten rid of all her pine cones. How about that? Not pine cones, her baskets. Went all around my room and like, why do I need those? Something you can't put a name on, Cora, or a little ticket on. Cora's already come into the room and saying what she wants to give Kate. Okay, Jane, see this? Are you looking, Jane? All you do is, and it's going to come up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally jam, God bless you. My goodness. This is going to be just a nice, simple one. Okay? Just, and that's all you do. And if at the end you find, hey Pam, is there any more in that bag, do you think? Oh, I still got some more here. That's why I have the plastic bag, the black one. I'm going to, you always give it a fresh cut. We used to spend time banging these so that so the water would go up instead, but you don't have to really do that. Thank you. The greens should not be in the water though. That will cause rot. It really would. And you don't want to have that. Because you know what? It stinks. Stinks. You think the cat tinkle from the box stinks? This is worse. I will personally have many of these, just like this, around my house. High areas, low areas. Just pine and cranberries. You know, A.C. Moore has beautiful vases. They're cheap, but they do a nice job, and that's all you do with putting the cranberries in. Thank you. If you choose, you could put some flowers in there, but I don't like this one. See, much better. Now, I also have, Mrs. Kirby, do you know the name of the bush? It's got little green and white flowers. I don't know either.
Is it a variation of the dogwood of some sort?
You know what? It is. You are absolutely right, because I did hear them say that. This bush is gorgeous. It's got all these red twigs that is prettier naked than it is dressed, as far as I'm concerned. This year was not the year for these. This bush in particular, the leaves died. They died very early, and it looked horrible. And I guess in the condo association, you can add, but you can't take out. So for fear that I was gonna get another letter, I left it alone. Bon appetit. Isn't that simple? Do that yourself. You can definitely do that yourself. Now, this is a new one, while I have the cranberries out. I just saw this, someone just emailed me this, a friend just emailed me, and I just thought this was the coolest idea also, okay? It has to do with your water and whatever. I took one of your jars, okay, because I don't know the Cape. Everything's on the Cape. If I want anything, it's on the Cape. And she just stuck a bunch of, no, it doesn't come in bunches. She put different greens in. There was some of this in the jar, and there was some of this in the jar. And it is, I think it's on, it may be on Pinterest. Was it on Pinterest? Did you see it too? Yep, and then some of this, and you jam it down. A little bit of that, and a little bit of this. So it didn't come from Washington, from Seattle, huh? Oh, well, I'll have to tell her. Some of that. And you throw in some more of these. And you put some of this. And you would put more in till it, and there is a cover here somewhere. And I'm gonna throw some more cranberries in. I'm gonna need another bag. Oh, it's open? Okay. No? Thank you. I'm not afraid of opening the cranberry bags. We have a Wegmans up around our area. Yeah. Beautiful store. Their cranberries were pretty inexpensive this year because cranberries were plentiful. Must have been all those red berries type of thing too. But you can add, isn't that just cool? I just thought that was something kind of cool. That's it. Okay. All right. We have that, we have that, we have that. How are we doing? I can stop, or I could do one more little one. One more? Okay. I'm going to do this one. And whoever gets this one has a choice between a red or a white candle. Okay? Just a plain old candle. I really, really wanted. I never, ever, ever found those little baskets. Manette and I went to a place on the Cape this fall. It was. Oh yeah, go ahead, pull that. Actually, you can do the trio. Okay. What was the name of the place that we went to? Crosby Mansion in Brewster. They have, you know who lives next in the Crosby Mansion in Brewster? Daddy Barnard lives across the street. She lives right across the street from the Crosby Mansion, right across the street. As a matter of fact, if I had known, she was a teacher in Blackstone. If I had known it was her house, I would have knocked on the door because she, for privacy, went, no, because everyone picks them. She has bamboo. She has a whole, and I guess bamboo spreads. And yes, gorgeous, gorgeous bamboo right across the street. So we were there, and they had and this is an old mansion that they have started to renovate and open up to the public for events, and you can have weddings there and things like that. They built a room, and a function room next to it. Absolutely gorgeous place. And they were decorated for Christmas. And Knoxwood. And they had these candlesticks, of which I have. I just keep those pewter candlesticks, but they had like a little basket on top of the candlesticks. And I could not find the basket because it was a little tiny arrangement right on top of the candlesticks, really pretty. Boxwood, by the way, has to be soaked. It has to remain soaked, okay? And on this one, I am just going to fill it with boxwood and put some baby roses on there and a little bit of baby's breath. And, and this is just tiny pieces of boxwood, okay? So we can pick that? Did we pick that one? I had while I'm doing this. You think?
Is it one or two? Is it three?
It could be three. Well, it's up to you.
Well, so the first one I pulled for was the first pieces you did with the cranberries and the little candles, and that's Tina Landry. I don't think she's here. I think she bought her ticket as a donation. So, and the second one is the larger base, Ruth Messier. And then the mason jar is Sue Landry.
She told me.
Well, that's good because she made all those little bows, so. That's good too. I know, I think for myself to make my own boxwood, I'm gonna go back to the florist. Get some less stinky one. Can you see my cat after this? We have a cat who thinks he's a dog. We inherited the cat, Mozart, when my daughter moved from one apartment to the other in Boston. They couldn't have a cat, so we inherited the cat. Now the cat is part of the family and thinks it is a dog. Talks to my husband all day long. And of course he answered him back too. There is a candle little fixture in here. If not, whomever won the flat, the other one, the other piece, the long center piece, if you would like a candle on it, I do have the little plastic things that would go in it here, if you'd like that. Okie dokie. Let me see. I know, we're quiet. What can I tell? So Perfect Pam moved away. She sold her house also, and this is pretty sad, but if you're ever going to sell your house and you're curious about Title V, is there any plumbers or septic tank people here or whatever? Because I don't want to say anything till say. Okay, don't go to someone who does Title V septic tanks to get approved, because they definitely want to make you put in a new septic tank, right? So she sold her house a couple of months before we sold ours, right? And she went to somebody, and they said, oh, absolutely, you definitely need a new septic tank. So, was it $20,000 later, they cut up her entire front yard. Entire front yard. And like I said, it was a very manicured piece of property. So she had a swimming pool in her front yard for a long period of time. And now the lovely people who have, and they're very, very lovely people who have bought their house, have cut down all the trees and mow the lawn maybe, once a month, every other month. I think the best thing is that they have a child who has a lot of allergies. So they pulled out all of the oil heat and put in propane. So now on the side of Pam's beautiful property, and we still think it's a humongous propane tank with weeds all around it. But like I said, they're a lovely, lovely couple. We only got to know them a little bit before we moved away, and they're a lovely, lovely couple. And kids are all over the place and everything. That's wonderful. But yes, so Pam has a heart attack just about every time she comes to visit, and yeah. I mean, you know, when you move, it happens. It's not yours anymore. I do have to say that when your sister bought our houses, that my mom was extremely thrilled that there were going to be young children there. Extremely thrilled. So, on that. Okay. Getting there. Oh, Eileen, you know the old fart. Our old fart. Paul.
I do.
You do? Eileen knows the old fart. She has a husband who was very good friends with the old fart.
He was young then, though.
I know, he was young. He was a young fart then. Yeah, but I think he knows he is, right, Manette? I think Paul knows he is. I think he has pride in it. Okay, so it's just chock full of greens, and I'm going to just dress it up a little bit. That's why I saved those. I'm not quite yet dressing it. I have two varieties in here, and I don't like to do that, mix them up. Gosh, these are going back in the garage. There they go, okay. Now. Good, some pretty little ones to go with, wrong. What my intent was at first is to put this on there, but it just needed something else. And I was going to put this little candle, just that, on the table, but I thought that the table needed something high. Since it's only the two of you, that's going to be eating tonight. Because the kids are in bed. Yeah, right? You gotta learn to put those kids to bed early. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what was the matter with our kids. My kids were in bed at 7. And they loved to sleep. They were up at 5 in the morning. But they were in bed at 7 o'clock at night. And it was quiet. Like I said, they were up at 5. So we all got up at 5. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of baby's breath because I think that needs something. Just little bundles. Oh yeah. Little bundles of baby's breath. So when you go picking your berries and whatnot, this is the other thing. There's a house on Chestnut Hill Road, kind of across the street from, I can't think. Where's Mrs. Stanton? What street do you live on? Boulder Court. Well, that whole development there's a house that has beautiful berries. But I think it's somebody's. And every time you want to stop, the cop goes by. Yep. I don't know. You can either White candle? Okay, maybe the person who gets it wants red, doesn't matter. Okay. White or red?
Can you see the red again?
Yes.
Can you see the white again?
Who?
Now the red. Put them both there.
Which one?
The white.
Good. And that, my friends, is it. See, you can do this stuff. Gorgeous. How beautiful. Thank you. Mwah. It's been my pleasure. I've enjoyed doing this, and I'm glad I had.
Thank all of you for coming out tonight. And begrudgingly here at Millville, we may be letting Marie leave this year. And I will say the only good parts of that is that she's pulling out all the stops of all the fun things she's done over her years here. So we've had the benefit of this really wonderful evening, and we hope you all have had a wonderful time. We had a great time at the Thanksgiving concert as well. So I'm looking forward to the benefit of having a daughter in her class we're going to get to do all the fun things that she's rolled out. But she's obviously a good friend to many of you, and she's been a wonderful part of our community. And we at MESPA would like to thank you for coming out, and it doesn't hurt that it's a good cause as well, but we hope you all had a wonderful time. So thank you all very much. And thanks so much.